Hey dude, what's up? This is a vid response for your Friday the 13th vlog. Before I begin trawling through my DVD collection, I just wanted to mention two which I know aren't in there, and they're probably two of my favourite, but two of the oldest horror films ever. The first one is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which I mentioned in my comment. It was made in 1919 by a fellow called Robert Vine. He's a German director. If you're as nerdy as me, you will probably love it. And the other one is by another German director called F.W. Murnau, who made the original Nosferatu in 1922, which basically wrote the book on vampire films from there on in. I don't really like horror that much, so I don't own that many horror films. I'm going to get them out and just go through them and just say what I think about them. 1931, Todd Brownings's Dracula. Probably one of the most influential horror films of all time. I got the Dracula Legacy collection, so you get Dracula, Son of Dracula with Lon Chaney Jr., House of Dracula, Dracula's Daughter, the Dracula Spanish language version. If you ever want to see Dracula, stare down the barrel of a camera and say, La Sangre es la vida, Senor Renfield, find this movie. 1931, Frankenstein by James Whale. Boris Karloff's debut. If you don't think this movie is influential, compare Frankenstein's voice to Chewbacca. Case closed. 1932, Freaks by Todd Browning. The moral of this tale is, never insult a carny. 1933, King Kong by Merian C. Cooper. This makes Peter Jackson's version look like crap. As they no doubt remarked in the 1930s at the time, this movie is dope, yo. 1935, The Bride of Frankenstein by James Whale. My username is Dr. Pretorius. I mean, what do you think? Love it. This is my favorite horror movie of all time. It's probably one of the best movies in any genre of all time. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out on like a massive chunk of film history. 1960, Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. I don't think this really needs any explanation. 1965, Repulsion by Roman Polanski. This movie actually unsettled me. Seriously, don't watch it alone. 1968, Rosemary's Baby by Roman Polanski. It's like a pregnancy guide for anyone who may have slept with the devil. 1974, The Seven Golden Vampires, starring Peter Cushing. This pretty much speaks for itself. Shaw Brothers meets Hammer Horror. Not recommended. It's Fist vs. Fang in Dracula's Kung Fu Showdown, unless you're a nerd. If you've ever wanted to see Dracula attempt to fly kick someone in the head, check this out. 1974, Death Race 2000. Set in the distant future, 6 years ago, this is a film filled with subtlety. Sylvester Stallone doing a burnout on a fisherman's head, gratuitous nudity, David Carradine starring as an arch-villain who has a hand grenade, which is actually his hand. This film has everything. 1975, Jaws by Steven Spielberg. DVD goes in the machine. Farewell and adieu, you fair Spanish ladies. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. Don't go in the water, because if you're in the water, that means you're not watching Jaws. 1979, Dawn of the Dead. The best zombie movie ever. Once again, this makes the remake look like crap. Tom Savini, I love you. 1979, Nosferatu. This is a remake of the original by Werner Herzog. I mean, in this one, Dracula doesn't even pretend to be a human. He's like this morbid freak. It stars Klaus Kinski. How can he go wrong? 1992, Army of Darkness. This was probably the first horror movie I saw when I was like a little kid, about 8 years old when it first came out. Ash is the greatest hero ever to bless the screen as far as I'm concerned. He's like Clint Eastwood times MacGyver to the power of Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He has a chemistry textbook in the back of his car. He uses like a hammer, an anvil, and some nails to make a prosthetic, fully functional gauntlet hand. He turns his 73 Oldsmobile into an armored killing machine. This guy makes MacGyver look like Mr. Magoo. We can beat these Deadites. Klaatu. We can beat them. Virata. You'll never get the Necronomicon. You'll die in the graveyard before you get it. I mean, the final ending, the Bedknobs and Broomsticks references, it's brilliant. 2000, American Psycho. I have to return some videotapes. If you ever want to see a psycho in a raincoat thrash a guy's wet, bloody head in with an axe to the sound of Huey Lewis and the News singing "It's Hip to Be Square," this is probably the best of many films that have a scene like that. 2000 again. Versus. The opening shot of this film is a zombie being cleaved in twain by a samurai sword. This is like Street Fighter plus Dawn of the Dead plus Evil Dead 2 plus The Matrix plus Seven Samurai plus Die Hard plus Yakuza. That's the kind of equation we're talking here.